Good afternoon, everyone. I say good day to everybody. Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday in Nigeria, 23rd of January. Am I right? 23rd of January, 2022. And I say big shout out to everyone. I welcome you to this section of my YouTube today. My name is Dr. Bisaya Tokiti, and I would also be doing another series of the enterprise management classes today, and it is called Growth Strategy. For every one of us, you know that for every business or for every enterprise or venture that you have, growth is inevitable. Even as us or as humans, we grow on a daily basis. I Some years back I was in primary school. Some years back I was in the university. I When I finished the university, I did my masters. Then now I teach or lecture in a university because I've grown over the years. I've learned from my experience. I've learned from my failures or mistakes. Then I'm a better person today because of growth and experiences over the years. But for business enterprises or business ventures, growth is also an integral part of the business element. And if a business is stagnant, then you can't move forward. And that is why we have to talk about some of the growth strategy in the enterprise management class. Growing your business requires that you generate possible options and then make decisions as to which of those options that you have decided on will work best for your business. It is not all strategies that work for all businesses. Different businesses with different strategy choice. But I've listed some of the most commonly used strategy for growth in any enterprises, in any enterprise rather, be it small, be it medium, be it large, be it startup or already existing business. Some of these strategies can't be looked into, properly researched, then applied into your business. And I'll be looking at 4 strategies today. The first one is called Ansoff growth matrix. Then the second one is called the Boson consulting group matrix. Then the third one is called the General Electric McKinsey growth matrix. Then the last one is called the long run return pyramid. We'll be looking at all these strategies for growth in the course of this series. And I start with the first one, Ansoff growth matrix. This was developed by one of our professor, Igor Ansoff. I hope I got the pronunciation well. He was a professor of industrial administration in the graduate school of Carnegie Mellon University. Then in 1965, he published a book on corporate strategy where he explained ways of categorizing strategies as an aid to understanding the nature of risk involved in them. He also invited some of his students over to consider some of the growth options that the growth option that he developed, and that is called the square matrix, that is divided into 4 segments. One of the things listed in that segment is, the first one is market penetration, the second one is product or service development, the third is market development, and the fourth is diversification. He labeled those four matrix with product and services running from x-axis to, and x-axis represents present or new market space. Then y-axis also represents, x-axis represents present or new, y-axis represents the market. Then you also assign title to each of these strategies in ascending scale of risk. Then he said the first one is market penetration, like I explained earlier. And what do we mean by market penetration? From the word penetration, we are trying to, if you say to penetrate, you are trying to get deeper or have a deeper knowledge of something, or have have to penetrate means you want to issude di koko, abi you want to issude di koko. In Yoruba they say that means you want to know the main point. You want to know some secret element that is contained in that process. So when you say market penetration, this involves the process of selling more of your existing product or services to your existing customer. It means that you already have a market but it is not, maybe it is not properly utilized. So what you want to do is to utilize your customer, to utilize some of your products for it to have a wider coverage. You want to have more market share or more market space or more customers. So it involves selling of your existing product and services to your existing customer. And this Ansoff strategy is one of the lowest risk strategy, because all you need to do is maybe do more adverts for people to be more aware of those products or that product or service that you are rendering, so that you can have an in-depth knowledge or have a deep access to the market. And that is what we call market penetration. Then another one on that quadrant or that matrix is called product or service development. If you are not rendering a service, that means you are producing a product or you are producing something, and that something you are producing is called a product. Then if you are not producing and you have something to offer, it is called service or services. Then, so what do we mean by product or service development? This involves creating extension of your existing product or new product to sell to your existing customer base. Like we said, creating or extension of your existing product or new product. But basically, when you talk about product and service development, it means you want to create new products. You want to also make your existing customer or customer base be aware of those products. You want to also have a wider coverage. Sometimes you have a product people don't know, so you want an extension of those products or new products to be sold to existing customer. This is a bit risky than market penetration, but it is not as risky as the two others that I'm going to mention now. Then the next one is called market development. And what do we mean by market development? It means it involves entry into new market segments or completely new market, either in your home country or abroad. When you say market development, it means maybe a market that you have not I'm trying to look for the right word to you. A market that you have not captured before. So you are trying to capture more markets. You are trying to go into new markets. You are trying to make yourself or the product or services visible to new people, because the market is the people. It is not the place that constitutes the market. Then it could either be your home country or internationalization of fame, or into international market or neighboring countries. So market development, I've talked about market penetration, I've talked about product and service development, then market development. Then the last one is called diversification. And what do we mean? It's selling new products into new markets. And this is one of the riskiest, if there's a word for that, is a riskiest strategy, because there are a lot of unknown elements. Maybe government policy, maybe international policies, maybe there are different things that could make this strategy to be risky. Maybe regulations, maybe some standards that you are not used to, because you are diversifying into new things. You are trying to either go back in your production line or move forward in your production line. So diversification is one of the most riskiest strategy, because you have lots of unknown situation, and because you are just diversifying, it means you also lack experience. You might have been producing one particular product or rendering one particular service, but now it is a different ball game. So that is why we say diversification could be very risky. Then diversification is also further divided into 4 parts. We have horizontal diversification, that is taking entirely new product into your current market, that is doing something that you have not done before, something different from what you do. That is that you are trying to render a service that is different from the service that you are rendering before, or you are trying to make a product that is different from the product that you produced before. Then we also have vertical diversification, that is moving backward into your production line. Let's say, for example, how do I make this example? Maybe an institution, you now want to start making exercise books, textbooks for your student, and that is not your core. But for company now, let's say for example, now I'm trying to, okay, let's say for this attachment now, there are many companies that sells attachments, and I think one of the major components for this attachment is rubber. And you are not a rubber manufacturer, you are not planting, or you are not, so your company now decides to go into producing that raw material that they use to supply it. But your company now decides to start producing. That is diversification, that is moving backward into the product that you are currently getting from a supplier. Now you want to start producing or planting rubber, for example. There are lots of examples we can look into. My mobile phone too, let's say Samsung or LG, I use Vivo, and there are lots of components that makes this phone. We have the screen, we have the operating system, we have the camera, we have the pouch. There are many things on this system. So many of those organizations just come together to couple most of those components. Okay, if you now want to do vertical diversification, it means now you want to start producing any of your major components. Let's say the screen, or the the processing, the software, the operating system, or you want to start producing the camera. That is not your core product or service. Then we also have concentric diversification, and it means introducing a new product closely related to your current product, either in terms of technology or market presence into the market. Something that you are doing before, you are now relating, you want to now introduce something that is very close to that what you are doing at the moment. I'm trying to look for a real life situation. Maybe you manufacture bottled water before, and you manufacture pure water before. You now want to start manufacturing bottled water, or you want to start manufacturing some packed drinks or juice, still related to what you are doing before. Then another one is called the conglomerate diversification, that is introducing a completely new product into the market. I've said 4 things about the Ansoff growth matrix. I said market penetration, product or service development, market development, then diversification. I said diversification also is further divided into 4: horizontal, vertical, concentric, then the conglomerate diversification. And when I started, I said I'm going to look at 4 strategies that are commonly used to help us grow. I've talked about the first one is Ansoff growth matrix. The second one is called the Boston Consulting Group matrix. The third one is called General Electric McKinsey growth matrix, and the last one is called the long run return matrix. So the next one I'm going to look into now is called the Boston Consulting Group matrix. It's something that is very common in this part of the world. I know many students will have heard about it one time or the other. It was a tool that was developed in 1969 by the Boston Consulting Group, and it has been used, or it can be used to plan your portfolio of product or services. It means when you have portfolio, it means you have many product or services that you render or you sell. And the Boston Consulting Groups helps you to put everything on a proper scale of preference, to know the one that is a star product, to know the one that is a cow product, to know the one that is a cash product. Okay, I said cow, not cow, dog. The star product, the cash product, the dog product, and the question mark. It is also called the BCG model or metrics, and it is based on the product life cycle theory that can be used to determine priority, like I said, scale of preference given to the business portfolio of the business unit. Which one is most important, which one generates more cash, which one has the largest market share, which one has the highest growth rate, which one has the lowest growth rate or the smallest market share, and like that. And to ensure long-term value adding or value creation, a company should have a portfolio of products that contains two things: one, high growth products in need of cash input, and secondly, low growth products that generates a lot of cash. It means either it is you have a high growth product with a large market share, or you have a high growth product with a low market share, or you have a low growth product with a high market share, or a low growth product with a low or a minimal market share. It has two dimensions: the market share and the market growth. I've just explained that. And the basic or the logic is, the bigger the market share of any product, the faster the product market grows, and the better for the organization or the company or the venture that has sub products. I would make real life example now. The first quadrant we'll be looking at in the BCG matrix is called star. There are 4 quadrants, and the first one is called star. The second one is called cash cow. Okay, it's called cash cow. I said cow the other time. Cash cow. We have dog, and we have the question man. There is I'm going to show it on my video. There is on the quadrant, on top of the quadrant, we have the market share. To the right of the quadrant, we have the market growth. For the star products, they have high growth and high market share. That is, they are fast growing and they have a large market base. And a real life example of such products, let's take 2 companies in the Nigerian market. The first company I'm going to look at is Duffy Prima Foods. Duffy Prima Food are the company in charge of, they have a series of products, but basically the company that the product that has brought them to the limelight is Indomie. By the time I mention Indomie, everybody will know that, so that's the name they bear. Many of us don't know that their name, also they bear different name in different parts of Nigeria, but the most common name to them is called Duffy Premier Foods. And one of their products that has a high growth and high market share is a product that is called Power Oil. Power Oil sells millions. I'm also a fan of Power Oil. I use Power Oil when I have the opportunity to do it, and it is always readily available. It is always moving. It is the growth is high, and it has a large customer base. It has a large market share. It has penetrated the market. People want it at every point in time. You even see people pay down to distributors sometimes, say, I want Power Oil. When you have it, 10 liters, 5 liters, 20 liters, when you have it, let me know. Then another group of company we'll be looking at is the Tolaram groups. They are into production of Ipo, Colgate, Danomix, Pringles, Cocoa Pops, Kellogg's, and many other products. The Duffy Premier Food also makes other products. I just did not mention their product. Then the high growth and high market share product for the Tolaram groups is Danomix. Danomix has different is it fragrance or different makes of Danomix. You have the one for slim, somebody that wants flat tummy and wants to be in shape. You have the kind of milk you can use. You have for babies that are growing, for newborn babies, for adults or aged people. They have different segments of that market, and that is why they have a high growth rate and a high market share. Then for the cash cow, they have low growth and high market share. They have low growth but high market share. They're not growing so well. They are and their market share is high, is large. So even as they are not growing, they are still generating a lot of money, and that is why it is called cash. Cash is used as a measure rather than profit, as cash is the real resource used to invest in new offers. The objective then is to use the positive cash flow generated from this cash cow. They have low growth and high market share, so the number of people that are buying it has commensurated with that low growth, so it brings a lot of cash. But the pace at which it's growing is very low. So usually matured products that no longer need heavy marketing support budget to invest in. And real life examples of this cash cow. Sometimes this cash cow, they were one-star products. But for every growth strategy, there is a decline. So if the organization or the company does not make a proper adjustment at the point of decline for it to rise again, then it declines and it has low growth and high market share. An example from Dofi Premier Food is Indomie and Mimi Chin Chin. Indomie has a large market share. Indomie is one of the largest market share when it comes to noodles in Nigeria. I call it Indomie noodles. I don't know which other name every other person, but it is unique. It is different from every other noodles that you get in the market. For somebody like me, I'm a fan of Indomie noodles, and that's why I'm making examples of the product that I use. And most importantly, I take onions, Indomie onions. Every time you get to my house, you see a pack or two in my kitchen. So a good example of a low growth product but has an high market share is the Indomie noodles. Another one is the Mimi Chin Chin. Mimi Chin Chin, I don't even think they have any competitors. They have a large market base, they have a large customer base, but their growth is very slow, is very low. Then for the tolerant groups, an example of a low growth and high market share is Pringles. Many people eat Pringles, many people like Pringles. You just say Pringles, you don't know the company that is even manufacturing Pringles. So the company that manufactures Pringles is called Tolerant Groups. They are into other products. Then the third one we'll be looking at is called Dog. For dog, dog are majorly lying down when they are not very active, but sometimes they could be very active. But dog in this wise, it means low growth and low market share. They have a low growth and low market share, and sometimes what we do, we just keep them there. Low growth can become high growth, or low market share, if proper measures are put in place, can also increase. An example of Dofi Premier Foods example of low growth and low market share is Mimi and Mini Me noodles. Mimi and Mini Me noodles. Mimi and Mini Me. I didn't know there was a difference until I googled. I Google search it this afternoon to see that Mimi and Mini Me noodles, they are two different products, but they have low growth rates and low market share. I feel why some of these companies, they are doing Indomie and it's doing well, they are still doing Mimi and Mimi noodles, is to use this product to distract competitors or to tackle competitors. When this one is fighting this one, this product is tackling another product, they won't have time for Indomie. I feel that is a good strategy. Then for the tolerant groups, we have Kellogg's. There are other examples you can watch out for, or also go online and search. Then the last one is called the question mark, and the question mark has high growth rate and low market share. It has high growth rate and low market share. I said this product with low market share, but with low market share but high market growth looks very high. This should be limited in number, as these are big cash consumers and need to be watched carefully to see whether they are more likely to become stars or dog. Though they are question mark, for everybody that has a question mark, there is something unique about them. We are watching out if this high growth can also have a high market share. So there is a mark to it that what do we need to do to make this product become a star product, or do we watch till it becomes a dog product? So the company carefully watch and see which is their best interest. Is either to turn it into a star product or to watch and allow it to turn into a dog. An example of the Dofi Premier Food for high growth and low market is Maggi juice, the magic juice, and Lush Air. It has high growth rate and low market share. Then they also have pasta pasta that as much as many people take the Indomie, pasta is not, it is growing very high, but the market share is very low. Then for the tolerant groups, an example of this is Colgate toothpaste. It has a high growth rate but a low market share. Many people cannot afford. They will say Colgate is expensive, that they don't want to buy it. It does that, it does this. I'm a fan of Colgate too. So it has a high growth rate and a low market share. The matrix will be shown in the slide, so relax. So I've mentioned two now. The first one I mentioned was on Ansoff growth strategy by the professor of industrial administration. Then I've also mentioned the BCG matrix then, and I've explained the two dimensions of high growth rate and low growth rate, and the market share and the market growth. And I've given different examples that are involved in all this, whether it is star product or cash or dog or question mark. The next one we'll be going through is the General Electric McKinsey group metrics, which was taken by the virtual aspect of the Bose matrix and was used to enhance its performance using another consulting firm matrix, that is the McKinsey and Company, to help. They saw the BCG matrix and worked a little bit on it to use another matrix of the McKinsey and Company. Then between 1971 thereabout, they came up with a variant, and in some way was better than the BCG matrix, that is improvement by substituting business strength and industrial attractiveness for market share and growth rates. By substituting the business strength and industrial attractiveness for market share and market growth rate. The logic was that although these measures are subjective, they are more accessible than market share or market growth, which are hard to establish. Then the General Electric McKinsey group metrics has about 6 quadrants. The first one is market attractiveness, because it is, the idea was also from the BCG matrix, but just in a different way, where the BCG matrix had market share and market growth. The General Electric McKinsey matrix has business unit strength and market attractiveness. And to the right, they have put it in a scale of preference: high, medium, low. Then for the business unit strength, they have also made it high, medium, low. You can also read up on it. Then the last one we'll be looking at is the long run return pyramid. Don't forget that I've mentioned 4 now. The first one is what? Ansoff growth metrics. Then I've also mentioned the Boston Consulting Group metrics. Then I've moved on to the next one, the GE-McKinsey growth metrics, that saw some of the elements of the BCG matrix and added, they saw some of the aspects of the BCG matrix that they didn't like and changed it into something they feel it was an improvement over the BCG, and it was business strength and industry attractiveness that they have used to replace the market share and the market growth rate. Then the last one we'll be looking at is the long run return pyramid, and this pyramid can be attributed to Robert Brown, a senior academic at the Cranfield School of Management. It is a helpful strategy tool which effect a checklist of growth options. None of these options are mutually exclusive, and the tool does not provide for any form of evaluation. But nonetheless, the pyramid can be a valuable memory aid to help you ensure that you have not left any stone untouched during your strategic review process. Then the long run return pyramid involves a lot of things. The long run return pyramid is on the, you know what a pyramid means. It is narrowed down. It is narrowed down to the bottom. But the first thing on the pyramid is called the long run return. Then to To the right and to the left, we have volume and we have productivity. Under volume, we want to see how much we can innovate and how much we can compete. Under innovation, we want to see new markets, new products, new services, and how we can penetrate those markets, how we can develop products that people, the customer base, will like and will love. Then under to compete, it means increase usage rates, then how to also outshine our competitors in the marketplace. Then don't forget, I said the long run return involves volume and productivity. I've mentioned the two elements under volume now: innovate and compete. Then under innovate, it means you want to create new market, you want to create new products, you want to create new services. Then under compete, you have increase usage rates, you want to also outshine your competitors. Then from the productivity aspect, we have increase margin, increase business margin. Then we also have productivity, we have to cut costs, we want to increase our profit margin rather. Then we also want to cut costs. Then in the process of increasing our profit margin, we have to improve our product mix, we have to also either reduce our price or increase our price depending on the situation in the market. Then in cutting costs, we can either cut the variable costs, the working capital costs, or the fixed cost. I believe that this topic has helped you. I hope you listen to it and understand. If you have any question, please don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Don't also forget to watch, to share, to subscribe, and to like this video. Please don't hesitate to send me any question that you feel is not so clear, or you can also search online for further clarification. Thank you all, and God bless you. Mwah.